What's up, guys? It's your boy Darskin, and today we're going to be talking about, is SR Eren the best SR in the game? So with the release of the Attack on Titan collab, a lot of people have been talking about this soul unit as debatably being the best unit out of the collab. Oh, Eren can do this, Eren can do that. So I wanted to go ahead and have a little debate slash discussion with you guys. Talk over, the units with the SRs and see if Eren stacks up to the other ones and if he is the better out of the others. So let's go ahead and get into it. So starting out, we have SR Eren, obviously blue unit, 240% damage, 300% damage, 500% damage on his first card. Granted, it also takes away stances, so there's that. Now there's not a lot of people that use stances, so that doesn't really matter. Moving on to his second skill, increases basic stats by 20% for 2 turns. At rank 2, it increases base stats by 30% for 2 turns and gives evasion for 1 turn. And at rank 3, it increases basic stats by 50% for 3 turns and gives evasion as well. Now, moving on, I'm also going to rank all of these with the characters at 6'6". Not that it'll matter, because like they're SRs, so they're all gonna be the same. They all should be 6'6", right? So anyways, inflict shatter damage, which ignores resistance, super good. Max multiplier is going to be 945%, which is really good damage. It's probably going to be one-shotting almost anybody if he boosts himself. So there is that. And then his passive is not that good. Oh man, excuse me. Increases the hero's damage against unknown race. The only 2 units that are used that are unknown race are Merlin and Gother, so there is that. But yeah, so that is Eren. Now, obviously, another unit we got to bring up in the discussion, which is another collab unit, is Slimeroo, right? Green Slimeroo. He was a really good unit back whenever he came out for the raid, blah, blah, blah. As far as he goes, right? As far as he goes, 220% removes buffs, 300% removes buffs, and then 400% removes buffs and stances. Heals HP for 300%, 300% grants debuff immunity. And then at rank 3, it's 300% grants debuff immunity, and it's AoE, right? Because these 2 are single targets, so there's that. His ultimate at max rank 2, 945% as well, depletes 3 ult gauge though, which is really nice. His passive, allies heal for 5% of diminished HP at the start of every turn. That's not super amazing because 5% is not that much, especially of the diminished. If it was 5% maximum HP, it'd be super good. But it's not. Now, speaking of Eren and Slimeroo, I feel like Slimeroo is very situational, comparative to other healers that can just do his job way better. Whereas Eren is just like a super good free-to-play option over, like, as far as damage, right? Slimeroo, there's a lot more healers that are free-to-play that are better options compared to what he can bring to the table. So I definitely think Eren's better than him. Now, moving on to Red Elizabeth. One of those better healers is Red Elizabeth. 220 disables attack, 220 disables attack, or 360 disables attack, excuse me. Her heal, 200% of attack, 200% of attack fills ult gauge by 1, and then 300% of attack fills ult gauge by 2. Granted, she's not giving like debuff immunity or whatever. This is an AoE heal. Not to mention her ultimate heals as well and grants rejuvenate, which are all going to be really good. And her passive, 10% of max HP at the start of next turn if they've taken damage. Super good. It's a constant, so it's like even if you take less than 10% of your HP, you will get 10% back, which is super good. The downside is if you take more than 10% of your HP, you're only getting 10% back. So there is that as far as her. I think she is very good as far as a healer standpoint, but the thing about it is Elizabeth and Eren do 2 completely different things. She is like a 4-slot unit. Eren is a upfront damage dealer type of unit. It's debatable who would be better if we had to put somebody in the first place. Moving on to Guild Thunder. I mean, Guild Thunder is really good. His passive is good for PvP. His boosting is good for PvE. But he's not the best booster, nor is he the best 4-slot unit. So, I mean, he's a really good free-to-play option. But if we're talking boosters, the best damage booster in the game is Green Hellbrim, right? Getting that 30% to pierce rate, crit chance, crit damage, and attack is much better than 60% just to raw attack, right? So Green Guild Thunder is definitely the better booster if we're talking about raw boost. But, I mean, he can bring, you know, ult damage to the table. But I just don't think he... Excuse me. Oh, man. I just don't think he is the best when it comes to what he does or anything like that. Not to mention, not saying that you have to be the best at what you do to be the best SR. Not a lot of people take him to raids anymore. A lot of people are switching to auto farm raid, you know, raid teams. Not to mention, once like Hell comes out, he's not gonna really be used, right? Because it's, you know, he has type advantage to Grey Demon, which no one's gonna be using a booster in Grey Demon really. I mean, you can, but nobody's really gonna be doing that. So it's like, I don't know. Giramore, literally only used as a 4-slot unit for his passive in PvP. Mainly, I mean, you can use his other cards, but his other cards aren't really doing anything for you. So, yeah, definitely not the move. Gustav disables recovery ceiling on all 3 of his cards. Same card as Red Arthur. Cool. Second card is the freeze. Then freeze with 80% additional damage, and then freeze for 200% additional damage for 2 turns. Cool. His ultimate does spike damage. Granted, he has no crit chance, so he's not going to be critting at all. And then his passive decreases resistance by the value of the hero's pierce rate, which his pierce rate is not super high, and you're never going to be really building him pierce rate or anything like that. So he just doesn't become as good. Not to mention, with the change to guild boss, he isn't used to be the freezing unit that you need, so he really doesn't have it used right now. So yeah, definitely not. Now, moving on to Red Liz. Red Liz, super good. Let's say your favorite character is Elizabeth. If your favorite character is Elizabeth, you are living in the best timeline. Because, dog, you have Green Elihawk, which is right here. A good farmer, right? Really good farmer. You have Red Elihawk, which is good for Red Demon, Crimson Demon, and you can use her. Those are the main 2 things you can use her, but you can use her with other stuff, I guess. But yeah, Red Demon, Crimson Demon. Then you got Blue Elihawk, who you can use in PvP and PvE instances. It's just like Elizabeth across the board is naturally a really good unit. I'm gonna be honest. Like, she just, like, with her passive, she just becomes really good, dog. She ignores defense on her first card. She cancels stances on her ultimate. Cancels buff and debuff cards on her second one. She's just all around a really decent unit when it comes to a lot of things. Now, obviously, Green Liz is just really pretty much a farmer. Her passive, however, is super good. Gives 10% HP related stats to anything outside of PvP or deathmatch. Moving on, Red Slater. 180, 270, 400% damage, 20, 30, and 40% life still on that card. This card right here stops you from doing, you can't do anything except attack, and it reduces your attack related stats, right? Super good debuff right there. His ultimate, 810%, disables attack skills for 2 turns, and then his passive decreases all enemies' crit resistance by the value of the hero's crit chance at the start of battle, which is crit chance is generally around 32-35%. Slater's really good SR as well. He's honestly, I feel like he's underrated. I feel like not a lot of people use him in stuff that he could be used in, and I don't feel like I feel like he's underrated simply because people have other stuff to use, not because he's necessarily bad. So yeah, I definitely think Slater is a really good unit. Now, last but not least, Blue SR Meliodas. Now, I praise this Meliodas all the time. A lot of people say I'm overrating him, but dog, weak point. His only weakness is the fact, granted, like, weak point is weakness, funny. But anyways, his only weakness is that he does not have a debuff. Because he has weak point, which is going to be doing dumb damage, right? This is 900% if it's a trip, like, if you debuff him, it's going to triple, right? So that's 900%. Then, moving on, his counter lasts for the entire turn, right? 200, 300, and then 400% of attack. At rank 2, it gives 50% damage reduction. At rank 3, it evades. Cool. His ultimate double crit chance on it, which he's going to have 23% crit chance. Plus, his passive increases crit chance by 30% at the start of the turn if the hero doesn't take damage. So 1 stack of his passive, plus his crit chance, plus his ult, is over 100% crit chance, right? So it's guaranteed after that. Honestly, if we're talking now, if this is talking damage, if we are talking damage, like SR Eren is the best SR. If we're talking damage, because he's the only person that can boost himself, right? And it's like, yeah, you can say, oh, well, Guild Thunder can. Guild Thunder is, number one, Guild Thunder's boosting just his attack, and Guild Thunder has an AoE that has Rupture on it. He does no damage. None, right? Whereas Eren is increasing his base stats, which is attack, defense, HP, right? And it's like, Guild Thunder is like 30, 40, 60. Eren is 20, 30, 50, which is not that big of a difference comparative to his percents and his ultimate, right? 945, whereas Guild Thunder does what? 840. So Eren, like, if we're talking damage, Eren definitely dishes out the highest damage out of most of the SRs. Now, obviously, you can go through some other SRs. There might be someone that hits a little bit harder with their ult or something like that. But I feel like overall, Eren dishes out the most damage. Now, granted, Elizabeth, hers is debatable based off of her passive. Like, if she stacks her passive a bunch, obviously she'll hit harder. But let's be realistic. If you're going, like, if we're talking like most thing, like 90% of the stuff in the game, you're not stacking your passive, right? So it's just like that's unrealistic for sure. So if we're talking raw damage, right? Like damage, he definitely is the best SR in the game, in my opinion. Now, as far as utility, obviously no, but he's definitely very good, very top tier SR. The fact that he's free is still crazy to me, but yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it. He's definitely top tier, if not first place for SRs. So anyways, that's going to be it for this video. Be sure to give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, comment down below, tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. With that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.